You're listening to the Cheeky Podcast for moms with IBD, a safe space where moms with Crohn's and colitis connect, explore powerful tools for healing, and transform our lives to thrive in motherhood and in life. I'm your host, Karen Haley, IBD health coach, integrative wellness enthusiast, and mom to 3 outstanding kids. After having Crohn's disease for 30 years and working as a health advocate exclusively with IBD clients for the last 10 years, I know it's time to bring the types of candid conversations I have with my clients out into the open. It's our time to go on an IBD healing journey and do it like only a mom can. Let's do this. Hello, dear one, and welcome to the podcast. How's your day going? I just want to take a moment and send you out some healing energy. Send it your way, especially if you're struggling today. I feel you, mama. I've had those days myself. I have to say, though, for me, today it's going pretty well, considering a lot of chaos that's going on around me. And I know that that's because I started my day in the best way possible for my IBD. I started today with my 5-step IBD healing morning start. And I've been starting my day this way for a while now. And I wasn't really absorbing just how important it was for my health. And then one day last week, it just hit me. It hit me just how crucial this morning start had become. And when I realized that, I just knew I had to share it with you. If the behind the scenes of how I start my day with my IBD in mind, if that can help you move the needle in a positive direction, even just a little, I just knew that I had to share it with you. So today, like I said, I'm going to be sharing the behind the scenes of what my typical morning looks like, my 5-step IBD healing morning process. But I have to start by saying that sharing my 5 steps, it's not about you copying the way that I do it. It's more about if it can spark ahas or hmms for you so that you can then create your own IBD healing rituals. And my rituals, they take place first thing in the morning. I'm at a place in my life as a mom where that works best for me. My youngest kid is 10 now. Wow. And I have 2 later in teenage years, adults, that is, and they still live at home and they stay up late, like past midnight every night. So my nighttime of putting the kids to bed early and then enjoying some quiet time by myself with my hubby, those days are definitely long in the rearview mirror. They're in the past. So these days, if I want quiet me time, it's gotta be when the kids are still asleep in the morning. When you're listening to my 5-step IBD healing morning start, instead of thinking, I can't, it doesn't work for me, I'm gonna tune it out because this isn't the period of life that I'm in when I can do that, I challenge you instead to think about where could I fit this in for me? Where can I prioritize me to help my IBD? Okay? So if you have nappers, let me just say, if you have nappers, you might be able to commit to doing this kind of start that I do. You could do this at nap time. Or maybe in your schedule, you could fit it in when you and your partner are both at home and you can then have some you time while your partner takes care of the kids. And if your kiddos are older than nap age, but they still go to bed relatively early, could you squeeze this in after their bedtime? And if your kids are my age kids, trust me, they are fine on their own for a bit. I promise you, they will not burn down the house. Most likely they won't. At least I can say that. And if you're like lots of mamas out there and you feel like your whole day is a zoo, and you don't even have the time to do this 5-step process, what about 20-minute chunks of time? What about 20 minutes here and 20 minutes there so that you can complete the 5 steps? The bottom line is that I want you to let my behind the scenes be the catalyst for you to create your own IBD healing rituals that you can do daily. And if you can't do all 5, how about 1 or 2 of the steps? What can you do? This isn't a all or none approach. It's about figuring out what works best for you. You do you, mama, but I'm not buying the I don't have any time. Like a wise old professor once told me when I told her, but I don't have time for that. She said, we all have time, and we make a choice with what we do with our time. Right now, healing your IBD, it needs to be right up there with your top priorities, like keeping your kids safe and alive. And if you stick with this, know that it's not your forever. It's just your for now. And when you feel better, I know, will pour all that love back into your loved ones, back into the ones that you love. You deserve this time, mama. Your health deserves this time. Make this your priority and you will reap the rewards with your IBD health. All right, it's time to dive into my 5-step morning start. Now, for this part, I'm going to give it to you straight. I'm going to walk you through how the 5 steps work for me. And at the end, we'll do a recap. We'll do a recap with these 5 steps. And at that time, I'll show you how you can make each of these steps your own, how you can do it like a mom. All right, let's go ahead and start with step number 1. My step number 1 is I wake up early and I get set up for my IBD healing morning. Now, this is the most important step, even though there's not a lot going on in this step in terms of helping your IBD heal. But this is an important step because if you wake up late or if you get a late start, and that means whatever that means to you, right? So for some mamas, waking up at 5:30 a.m., that's a late start. And for others, it might be 9 or 10 a.m. That would be a late start. So whatever is early for you, try for that. Try for that time, for that waking up time, so that you can get started on your 5 steps. The whole journey takes about an hour. So make sure you get up on time. I try, and notice I said the word try there because I'm far from perfect, but I try as much as I can to get a good night's sleep. And for me, that means 8 or 9 hours. Ever since I was diagnosed with Crohn's, and that was over 30 years ago, I've noticed that I need more sleep than lots of people, really. I just know that my body needs it. My hubby, on the other hand, he can thrive on 6 hours of sleep. Everybody's different. So I need 8 or 9 hours sleep. I know that about myself and I try my hardest to get it. But once I wake up early, I immediately turn on my far infrared lamp. What's a far infrared lamp and why would I be using that to help my IBD? Well, that's a whole other conversation, and we had that one back in the last episode of the Cheeky Podcast. Episode 26, Far Infrared Light Therapy, a hidden gem for IBD. So if you didn't listen to that episode yet, it's okay. But when this episode is over, you can go back and take a listen to that one. I get into everything you need to know about far infrared light therapy and how it can help you if you have Crohn's or colitis. But in the meantime, I want you to know that for IBDers, far infrared light therapy, and this is really the Cliff Notes version. Are Cliff Notes still a thing? I'm not sure, but I think you know what I'm talking about. The Cliff Notes version is that the far infrared light is detoxifying for your body. It decreases inflammation. It increases your immune function, and it helps with balancing your gut flora. Wow, wham, bam, that's amazing. Really important stuff for us IBD moms. So I turn that far infrared heat lamp on. I turn it on first because it takes about 10 to 15 minutes to heat up. So I want to get it started right away when I first wake up. And if I'm being completely honest with my behind the scenes take, it's almost embarrassing, but I have to tell you, next, I take a quick trip to the bathroom for number 1. And normally I wouldn't classify that to anyone, right? But in IBD land, we're different. There's a difference between number 1 and number 2. It's a big deal to us, and we're always keeping track. So just so you know, I head to the bathroom for a number 1, and then I grab a cup of herbal tea, and it's already brewed. It's waiting for me in my little nook in my bedroom. And I know it's weird. It's weird that I brew tea in my bedroom, But it's the perfect place because it's close by for me, so I can just pick up my tea before I head back to getting in bed. And tea is a huge part of my healing regime. Herbal tea especially, it boasts gut healing benefits ranging from decreasing inflammation to helping you with bloating, gas, nausea. It can aid in digestion, help you with energy levels, increase your immune function. And depending on the type of herbal tea, it can even provide you with antioxidants and nutrients like vitamin C and iron. And it has, I have to say, tons more benefits to it. Crazy cool benefits. Herbal tea is awesome. And my herbal tea, it's waiting for me when I wake up because in my bedroom is one of my absolute favorite things in the whole world. It's the automatic programmable tea brewer. Now, trust me, I know, this is an absolute definition of a true want and not a necessity. And I really do, I thank my lucky stars every time I sip my tea that I made from it. One of the only perks of having IBD, and we deserve some perks because there's a lot we go through, it's truly appreciating everything we put in our body, everything we put in that supports our health and our healing. Most people, they mindlessly eat without thinking about what it's doing to their body. We, on the other hand, we eat and drink with intention because we know how powerful it can be on our healing journey. And getting that tea brewer, if I'm really being honest with you here, I have to say that it had a lot to do with feeling jealous of coffee drinkers who get to set their morning coffee maker. They set it the night before, and then when they wake up, they have perfectly brewed hot coffee waiting for them. So because I'm such a tea lover, I searched far and wide. For years, really, I really did. For years, I searched for a tea maker that did the same thing as that coffee maker. And finally, I found it last year. I found an automatic, ready for you in the morning tea brewer by the company Breville. And I asked my family to get it for me for Mother's Day. Next to my Vitamix, really, which is super fantastic. It's a high-speed blender if you haven't seen a Vitamix, which I've had that one for 10 years. Next to the Vitamix, the Breville tea brewer, it's probably my favorite small kitchen appliance. I'm going to link to it in the show notes so that you can check it out in case you're a tea fanatic like me and you want to indulge in this fancy newfangled contraption. Remember, Mother's Day is coming up again soon, so could be a present coming your way. So, okay, I quickly grab my cup of herbal tea and I settle back in bed where my infrared lamp is starting to heat up, and I sip my tea while I read the morning news on my phone. Yes, gasp. I do. I keep my phone by my bed. Guilty as charged. And actually, again, I gotta be honest with you, I really don't feel that guilty about it. Right now, I'm feeling kind of unapologetic about my phone being next to me while I sleep. Maybe I'll feel differently in a month from now. I kind of go back and forth with that, but for today, I'm happy with it. It's okay with me. It's on Do Not Disturb all night. I also turn off the Wi-Fi in my house, so I'm not using Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi is not next to my head, but I like my morning news. I like my morning news via email when I wake up. It's Katie Couric and The Skim, if you've heard of those. And those are just 2 quick email recaps of what's going on in the news with a little bit of light and fluffy thrown in at the end. It's perfect. It's the perfect way for me to get my morning news fix while my heat lamp is heating up. Now, I do have to give you a word of caution here. This is definitely from personal experience, so take the caution with care. Try your hardest not to get sucked into other emails if you do this like me, because it's a rabbit hole and it will suck you in and never let you out, right? It's, for me, into the news with the updates, just those 2 emails, and then right back out again. It's just some friendly advice from me to you, from an ex-email addict to you. All right, so my news fix is done. My infrared heat lamp is now ready. Magically, it's perfectly timed. I don't know how it happens, but it's perfectly timed when I finish it. It's been heating up. It's now ready for me to use. So we go now into step 2. That was everything I did in step 1. Let's move into step 2. And step 2 is where the real IBD healing magic begins. Mind, body, and soul. Step 2 begins with the infrared heat lamp that's now, like I said, it's warm, it's ready for some gut love. And I focus the heat lamp about 12 inches above my belly. I make sure the timer is set for 30 minutes. And with step 2 happening really in the background as I do other things, I can quickly move on to step number 3. And step number 3 begins with either option A, which is my long visualization plan, or option B, my short visualization plan. I should come up with a catchier name for it than that, but that's what I call them. Neither plan is better than the other. They're just slightly different depending on my mood, depending on what I want to accomplish with my IBD healing start that day. In both plans, they do involve some sort of what I call visualization. Now, if this word is new to you, you can think of it like a meditation. But this meditation, it's specifically designed for moms with IBD who want all the gut benefits that meditation can bring without the fear or the annoyance that some moms get from the complete stillness of meditation. I see it like this. For me, meditation is about quieting the mind, right? Stillness. Where visualization, it's about focusing your mind on healing. Slight difference, but one is much more active than the other. So in my option A, my long visualization, I spend about 20 to 25 minutes in a guided visualization through a free app called Insight Timer. Insight Timer. Have you ever used this app? Have you heard about it? It's truly incredible. And there just isn't a word in the English language to explain to you how incredible it is. Just in the sheer volume of visualizations and meditation options that are available there. There's visualizations based on time, so anywhere from 5 to 60 minutes or longer, I bet. I haven't seen it, but I bet it goes even longer. There's visualizations based on the benefit you're looking for, from pain management to healing, relaxation, anxiety, sleep, even motherhood. There's filters by the type of practice that you want to engage in, like guided imagery, mindfulness, or grounding exercises. There's even, and I love this part of it, there's even a parent section that you can use with your kids. These are visualizations for relaxation and sleep, and they're all packaged in a perfect kid-sized box with the best stories. My 10-year-old loves Insight Timer. And I really have to tell you, again, I'm not even scratching the surface with all that Insight Timer offers. And did I mention it's free? You have to check it out. I will leave a link to Insight Timer in the show notes. For my option A, my long form visualization, I pick a 20 to 25 minute session from my bookmarked visualizations. I have a list on Insight Timer, and I base them, which ones I pick, by my gut healing needs of that day. There's several Insight Timer contributors that I really like. You might want to check them out as well. There's Sarah Blondin and David G., but my favorite are the gut-directed contributors like Michelle White and Ruthie Hannon. Ruthie, hers even has visualization sessions that are specific for those of us with Crohn's and colitis. How cool is that? Seriously, love it. So this 20 to 25 minutes of focused energy on my health is all about my gut. It's all about healing my entire body. It's about using the power of my mind to help me with that healing process. And it's really more powerful than anything else that I do for my gut health all throughout the day. These moments, they set me up for the right mindset so that I can move through my day with confidence and clarity. And visualizations like the ones in Insight Timer, they have lots of relaxing breathing that's built in. And studies show that in this specific type of meditation, it has great benefit for those of us with IBD. One study, and I'll link to this in the show notes, but one study I saw showed outcomes for those with IBD who had a mindfulness practice. They had lower levels of CRP, that's your C-reactive protein, and also lower calprotectin levels. Those are both measures of inflammation and active disease for those of us with Crohn's and colitis. You might have seen them before. Your doctor might have asked for those tests before, and you might have seen that the levels were high. And this study showed, and there's other studies as well that talk about the benefits specifically for IBDers. So it's really powerful stuff. With my infrared lamp still gently warming and soothing my abdomen and my visualization complete, I spend my last 5 to 10 minutes with a round of Kegel exercises. Ooh, joy, fun. We can't neglect our Kegel muscles, mama. It might come back to haunt you in your old age, so doing the Kegels now is important. I remember my mom, she needed surgery on her pelvic floor later in life after, well, let me just say that things were hanging out where they shouldn't be, right? And since I know that it can be genetic, I'm not taking any chances. So the more babies that you've had vaginally, the more Kegels you need, my friend. Okay, Kegel exercises complete. It's now time for a prayer of hope for my family, my loved ones, for our gut love community of moms in our world, and of course, for all that I want to conquer that day. Your prayer or offering to the world, it can take whatever form that prayer takes for you. So that's my option A. That's the long visualization plan. And of course, it's called that because the visualization is a little bit longer. It's 20 to 25 minutes. Let's talk about my option B, my short visualization plan. And it starts very similar to option A, but I choose a shorter visualization on Insight Timer. Remember, I mentioned that they have different times that you can choose from. So for my short one, I pick one that's between 5-10 minutes. And after I complete that, I follow that with 20 minutes of my morning pages. Now, this is a free form of journaling, and it just helps me feel centered, grounded. It makes me feel like I can give my all to the day ahead. Have you ever tried journaling before? I know people either love it or they hate it. Before I started this practice, I used to think that I would absolutely detest it. But now that I've made it a priority, I went into it kicking and screaming, but now that I made it a priority, I've really taken a liking to my morning pages. For me, it might be like a brain dump of whatever is just going round and round in my head that morning. It might be a brainstorm of ideas for the podcast, for example. It might be a rant. Maybe I'm ranting about my annoying teenagers. And right now it's been a lot about my mom. She passed away a couple months ago, as you may have heard on the podcast. And so I've been writing down lots of stories about her life, stories that I want to remember her by, stories I want my kids to know, stories about her final days. So I'm going to definitely pass this on to my kids, and then I think they'll have it. Stories about her long after I'm even gone. It's been really cathartic for me. I like to journal in the morning, but I find that lots of my clients, they like to do this at night. They might have trouble sleeping, and a free-flowing journal, it just helps them get everything out of their head, and literally then you set your worries aside for the night so you can sleep. You pick the way that works for you, right? Try it. Even if you go into it like me, kicking and screaming, thinking you weren't going to like it, I bet the more you do it, I bet you will really grow to at least appreciate it. So option B ends just like option A. It ends with some Kegels and a prayer of hope. Mind, body, spirit, ready to start the day. Well, almost, because with the relaxing and that introspective part of my day behind me, now things get a little bit more juicy as I get the juices flowing. I get a little bit more energy going as I move into step number 4. And step number 4 is 15 minutes of movement. So, what type of movement speaks to you? Right? There's so many different kinds of movement. Is it CrossFit and kettlebells or jazzercise? Is it yoga, Pilates, or walking in nature? Whatever type of movement calls to you, do it, especially while you're in IBD healing mode. And while you're healing and you're not feeling well, it might be movement for you. It might be just going outside and breathing in the fresh air. I have a client who does this. Right now for her, movement is just getting outside and getting in the sunshine and feeling it on her face. And thankfully, she lives in a part of the country where it's sunny most of the year. And so she can just walk a few steps in the sun. She can feel it on her face. And it's really re-energizing for her, and it sets her up to have a positive day. I have another client who's a weightlifter, and if she doesn't get her reps in the morning, she doesn't feel like she can be effective for her day. So when it comes to IBD and movement, we're all different. Find the movement routine that works for you. For me, right now, my movement routine, it's a combination of yoga, and then I also do light aerobics with weights. So several months ago, it was Pilates, and then before then, it was bar class. You can see I kind of get bored and move around, and that's fine. But before that, it was even going outside and just walking my dog, and that was all the movement that I could do, and that was great. And some days, I don't want to do it at all, but 6 days a week, I commit, even when I don't want to, because I know in the end, I'll be happy that I did it. And more importantly, I'll have a better IBD day. I know I'll have a better day with my IBD health when I get my body moving, when I get my energy flowing. Now, some days I have even more time. I have a longer workout, but I always commit to a minimum of 15 minutes. And just like I did with the visualizations, I want to give you a couple recommendations when it comes to movement and some apps you can use there. So for number one, for my yoga, when I do yoga at home, I really feel like there is no better yoga instructor than Leslie Fightmaster. Shout, yeah, with me if you've heard of Leslie. Her free YouTube videos, they are stellar for every level of yogi. And I'm not a skilled yogi, no, not by any means, but I love her 30-day beginner's yoga sessions. And she's got 2 complete 30-day programs, so that's 60 days total for beginners. And when you take her class, you start at the beginning, but then by the end of the 30 days, you feel like you could hold your own for an in-person or a harder yoga class. Now, sadly, Leslie passed away recently, but I've been told by her family that they plan on keeping her yoga videos on YouTube. So definitely go check them out. They should live there forever, but Leslie is awesome. I also want to give a shout out to my fitness app. It's called Workout for Women, and it's the best $9.99 I spend every month. It's hundreds of workouts to choose from. So many, I could never even come close to completing them all. And I wrote this down because I think they're funny titles. They have catchy titles like Lazy Girl and Couch to Fit. I definitely did that one when I was moving from the couch to getting more fit. They have Pelvic Rehab, Office Collection, Night Stretch, Ab Stretch, Summer Butt, and they even have an F is for Family workout series with Hit for Kids and Fam Jam. How cool is that? Really cute names, great exercises. It's well worth this app, the price for this app. Now, around this time of the morning, my youngest, he usually wakes up and he'll stroll into my bedroom where I'm doing my workout, and I can usually get him to join me a little bit. Remember, we have to figure out how this can fit into our family's life. We have to prioritize ourselves and our health while we're in healing mode, and we have to make time for our IBD healing, but we also have to work within the parameters and the constraints of our life. So I often like to get my kids involved in a workout, especially my younger one, or maybe even meditation. Like I said, my younger one loves Insight Timer. But I did this with all my kids when they were younger, and I really opened up their world to what meditation is, what visualization is, and the benefits of it, so that they would understand not the benefits just for them, but also they would understand when mommy needed 10 minutes to herself, 10 minutes of a mindful practice, right? If they have already bought in and they have seen the benefit themselves, then they can understand when I need that time for myself. And if you can get them involved, it's even better. Even tea time, I have to say, it's rubbed off on my kids because every Saturday morning I brew an extra pot of my bedroom tea, and a couple of my kids they'll wander in and they'll grab a cup for themselves. And on days like this, I'll skip my morning start in favor of a cup of tea and some connection with them. This IBD morning start, it's not about being militant with your time. It's about setting you up for IBD success in whatever way works best for you. And that tea and chatting time with my kids, especially with my not-so-chatty teenagers, it's precious time, and that's just as good for your IBD as well. Okay, we are in the home stretch of my morning IBD start. Let's talk about step number 5, the last step. And that step, it is heading into the kitchen to make my morning detox drink. This is how I finish it all off, all the 5 steps with my morning detox drink. So after all of the support that I've done to give to my body, after getting enough sleep, after my far infrared lamp, the morning visualization, the morning pages, my Kegels, of course, and my prayer time, my movement time, it's time to get the digestive juices flowing and detoxing any of those toxins that have built up during the night. And my morning detox, it's a drink that's full of immune boosting, inflammation fighting nutrients, and it's what my body needs to get ready for breakfast. My morning detox drink, it starts with room temperature or even a little bit warm, purified water. And then I add in gut-loving, fresh squeezed lemon and apple cider vinegar, turmeric, black pepper, manuka honey, and MCT oil. Now, when I just started out, I definitely want to let you know this, when I just started out drinking this morning detox drink, I didn't include all of these ingredients. I always want you to start out slow with anything like this because your body might need to work up to it or it just might not be ready for it. So work up with one ingredient at a time. Even water, I know that might sound crazy to you, but even water first thing in the morning before you put anything else in your body, before you eat breakfast, as simple as that sounds, it's incredibly helpful for your digestion. So if you're able to just tolerate water at this time, that's okay. When you're ready, then add in the fresh squeezed lemon and the manuka honey and so on. The last thing I want you to add, though, is the apple cider vinegar because I don't recommend this to people who are in an active flare or those with ulcers in their mouth. And you better be sure if you have ulcers in your mouth, multiple, and I know because I have had years in my life with IBD where I've had 20, 30 in my mouth at a time, you do not want that apple cider vinegar. It is too acidic. But do it when you're ready. There's no rush, just whenever you are ready for it. If you want the full recipe for my morning detox, you can get it by going to KarenHaley.com/detox. It lives there. You can also get it by going to my show notes. So Karen Haley is KarenHaley.com/detox. And shout out to my client Karen who told me to put this back in. It's Karen with a Y because my mom had to be a little bit different. All right, so I'm happy to share with you my recipe. And in fact, there's also a recipe included in that detox for when you have a virus going on, when there's some sort of infection, a virus, when there's some kind of bug that you feel is going on, a cold, a flu, and it can help you really get that under control quickly. Both morning detoxes, they'll give your whole body support as you start the day. So there you have it. Those are my 5 steps to build your own IBD gut healing morning start. It can set you up for a day that supports healing, strength, and confidence. Confidence that you're on the right path for your day. Let's go ahead and quickly recap while I tell you how you can do it like a mom when it comes to these 5 steps. Hopefully, this will give you some last thoughts on how you can now adapt, kind of modify, make these techniques your own, make them fit your lifestyle and your symptoms. All right, really quickly, here's step number 1 again. I wake up, turn on my infrared heat lamp, and I grab a cup of herbal tea. Are you ready to do step number 1 like a mom? Okay, here's how you do it like a mom. Go to bed on time. Go to bed on time so that you can wake up early. But there's a but there. But be flexible. Be flexible with what your body needs. I have to tell you guys, keep it straight, keep it real here. Occasionally, when I'm really tired or when I know that my body needs more rest, right? When I haven't had enough, that 8 to 9 hours of sleep at night, I might only wake up long enough to turn on my heat lamp. It's actually right next to my bed, so I don't even have to get out of bed. I might just turn on my infrared heat lamp when I know I need more rest, put it over my abdomen, and then doze off again with a visualization playing for my unconscious mind to hear while I catch up on some Z's. If this is where you're at right now on your healing journey, and sometimes we all are, I want you to embrace it, mama. Trust your body. You will still get the benefit. You will still get some benefit here. So you can do this kind of approach too. Know when your body needs that. And if you want your own automatic tea brewer, because remember, that's part of step 1 as well. Mother's Day is coming up, dear one. It's linked in the show notes. Check it out. Ask for it from your family on Mother's Day. It's the perfect gift. You're going to love it. Okay, let's do a quick recap on step number 2. Step number 2 is where I position the heat lamp over my belly and I relax. I let the infrared healing wash over me. How do you do step number 2 like a mom? Okay, remember that the infrared heat lamp, it isn't a quick fix for your IBD symptoms. It's not like you're going to do this for 30 days and you're going to say, "Oh, bless me, I am healed." It's not like that. It is, however, an important add-on to your current healing regime. When you combine the infrared heat lamp or a sauna with everything you're already doing in terms of your lifestyle, your mindfulness practice, the food you're eating, and the supplements or the medication that you're taking, now you've got a fantastic healing plan in place, what I love to call your wheel of wellness. Also remember, morning isn't the only time of day for the heat lamp. It's not like it works better in the morning. While the kids nap, while you're on a mom break, even at night before you go to bed, the heat lamp that I'm going to share with you in the show notes, it has an automatic shutoff. So no worries that it's staying on too long. You can go ahead and turn it on and go to sleep. All right, step 2, awesome. Okay, step 3. Remember in step 3, I talked about doing some form of visualization, deep breathing, my morning pages, Kegels, of course, and a positive thought or a prayer for the world. Are you ready to do step number 3 like a mom? All right. I want you to forget what you thought about meditation, about stillness, about woo-woo. Forget that. That isn't what I'm talking about here. Visualization is different than meditation in my mind. It's much more active and much more mom-friendly. Also remember that your journaling, your visualizations, the breathing that you did during that time, the deep breathing, the feelings that you had during that time, you can go back to that feeling any time of day. That's why we do it, so that we can then use it later. So later in the day, if you're feeling unsteady, if you're feeling stressed, if you're overwhelmed, you're untethered, find that feeling again and use it to your IBD advantage later in the day. Step number 4. Step number 4 for me is all about movement. Are you ready to do step number 4 like a mom? Like the badass mom that you are? Okay. There's going to be days when every fiber of your being says, no, heck to the no, no exercise for me. And I want to tell you that this is me. This is me on most days. But don't give in. Don't give in to the no monster. Every time I go into movement or exercise, whatever that is, even when I don't want to, I always feel grateful and energized when I'm done. Do it for the feeling you get when you're done. Also, remember, it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what your movement is. From CrossFit all the way to me doing couch to fit. Be where you're at, mama. Movement is movement. And lastly, step number 5, that morning detox drink I was telling you about. Are you ready to do that one like a mom? First, I want you to download my morning detox recipes so that you know the exact ingredients and the amounts for those ingredients. Go to KarenHaley.com/detox to get started. It's KarenHaley.com/detox, and you can get yourself those recipes. And after that, just like with movement, be where you're at. Oh, I sense a theme in this episode. You don't need to be adding in all the ingredients at once. Play around with it, see what works for your body and what doesn't. Add in healing ingredients that you know work for you, right? It doesn't have to be just my recipe. Add in different ones. It's your detox drink. Make it your own. Even water is a great starting place, so don't feel bad if that's where you're at. That's okay. You will get there in time. Be the tortoise, and you will get there. Well, I have to ask you, where are you going to start, Mama? Where are you going to start your IBD healing morning start? Are you going to start it with the heat lamp? Are you going to go download Insight Timer? What will you do today to set yourself up for IBD healing success? And I understand, I really do. I understand how difficult it can be to put yourself first when you're a mom. We never allow ourselves to do that, do we? We're taught that it's selfish to put yourself first. We feel guilty when we do it. And as a recovering guilt addict, I gotta say, nonsense to that. I gotta call BS on that. 12 years ago, when I first started to take control and take the reins on my IBD healing journey, I made a conscious choice that I was gonna put myself first. I declared to everyone that I knew that this was the year of me. I really honestly did. I know some of you are cringing right now. You might be one of them, but I really did. I said, this is the year of me. Now, of course, I didn't neglect my kids, but I put everyone on notice that I'm going to do what I need to do to heal so that when I complete this process, I'll be a better mom, a better wife, a better friend, daughter, sister, aunt, worker, teacher. Fill in the blank. I fully committed to me. Commit to yourself, my friend. Find a morning or an afternoon or an evening routine that sets you up for success. Heck, you can 110%, you can swipe my IBD healing morning start and you can use it to your fullest IBD advantage. You've got this. You've got this, mom friend. I want you to let me know how it goes for you. Until we chat again, I'm wishing you a cheeky and healthy IBD healing journey. Thank you so much for joining me today and for listening to today's episode. When it comes to IBD, I know there's a lot of resources out there, and I'm truly honored that you chose the Cheeky Podcast to get your IBD information today. If you found this information helpful, please give us a rating and review. It helps other moms find the podcast and see what we're doing over here to help IBD moms everywhere. And if you feel called to do it, share this podcast with an IBD mom who you know could really use an uplifting message today, because that's what we're all about over here at the Cheeky Podcast. One last thing, if you're still with me, and if you are, you're definitely my kind of gal. We have to get to know each other better. If you're tired of living on the hamster wheel of IBD with all the ups and downs between flares and remission, if you're struggling to get control of your abdominal pain, gas, bloating, diarrhea, and other troubling IBD symptoms, go to my website. It's KarenHaley.com, and my mom had to be just a little bit different, spell my name with a Y. So it's KarenHaley.com, and schedule your very own free 30-minute IBD root cause troubleshooting session with me, where we discuss the challenges you've been having, we set goals to help you move forward, and we talk about how we can work together to help you get your life back. It's a power-packed 30 minutes. You don't have to live in IBD status quo. There's so much that can be done to transform your life so you can thrive in motherhood and thrive with IBD. I've seen my clients walk this path, and it gives me so much joy to take that journey with them. My entire coaching practice is run online, so you never have to leave your house and you never have to get out of your jammy or yoga pants for us to work together. You know I'm wearing them too. If you're ready to take your first amazing step towards healing, I'm ready to chat with you. Schedule your free 30-minute IBD root cause troubleshooting sesh today at KarenHaley.com. Click on the Work With Me tab and I'll see you soon. It's important to note that the information in this podcast and in this episode is for general information purposes only and not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice. The statements made in the Cheeky podcast for moms with IBD, either by me or my guests, is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Before implementing any new treatment protocols, do yourself a favor and consult your physician first. Thank you so much for listening, for being here, for saving this space for us to spend some time together. Until we chat again, I'm wishing you a cheeky and healthy IBD journey.